They're on YouTube.
You're on YouTube?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, on Doyen Artists. If you check it out.
Oh, I guess that's-
Every week,
Can I comment?
Yeah, you can. Oh yeah. Well, don't leave any comments that are gonna debase me.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Trust me, I'm a pro. Okay.
Where'd you learn your craft?
Yeah. I studied at Groundlings and improv university.
You're gonna start getting all these comments from like some fucking troll. What are you talking about?
I've never heard of you before in my life.
I took your advice, you fucking know. Oh my god, I need to depart, man.
Your acting tips are bullshit.
Oh my god, I love it.
What's going on, everybody? Happy 4th of July weekend. Okay, that was my buddy Sergio. He, my business partner for another company I run called PS Poets. It's really cool, like poetry foundation. I've been running for like 5 years now with him, and he just gives me shit all the time about stuff. So anyway, we're having a good time. Anyway, so this acting tip of the week, I want to talk about something that actually molds into another aspect of your acting career, which I think is super important, which is video editing. But primarily, this topic is all about your acting reel, okay, your demo. And this is like, along with your headshot, which I've mentioned that in a previous video. You can check that out in the link below. Your acting reel is like another huge piece of your acting arsenal that you need. For agents to look at, for managers to look at. I mean, a lot of producers will look at these, casting directors will look at your reel, and it's basically a video sample of your most relevant work as an actor that you have compiled. And I know it's tough because a lot of times when you do a project, you don't really have the ability to get the footage right away from it. Sometimes, like if you do a movie, that movie's not going to come out till next year. So if it does get made all the way and it's on Netflix or something like that, you're also not going to get the footage right away. You have to contact somebody, find a producer or a director if you made friends with them, which I hope you do. You need to ask them for permission to get that footage, and that can be a really tough process. So gathering footage altogether is a whole separate thing in and of itself that we can maybe talk about at a later time. But once you have that footage, your next step is to compile it into like a video reel, which is, like I just said, a sample of that work, which is really important. And it shouldn't be very long. I know there's a lot of conjecture out there about like how long your reel should be, if that should be 2 minutes long or 3 minutes long or whatever. There's a lot of different things you could think about. Now mine personally is 4 minutes. That was kind of what I learned when I was younger. I've always stuck with that. It's always worked well for me. So I try to keep it within a 4-minute time period, your video reel. That means 4 minutes of clips. So like if you have a movie, take a sample of that. If you have a pilot that you've done, take a sample of that. A couple short films, clip out some pieces of those and mold it all together, and then find a nice flow of that video reel that you can use. So gaining that footage is important, right? But then once you have that footage, you need somebody to compile it for you into a video. And that can be expensive. That can be really hard to find somebody to do that. But if you know how to do it yourself, you can bypass all of that and make changes whenever you get new footage in. You have complete control over that process. So today, I want to actually update my reel. I have a bunch of new footage that I need to throw in, and I thought it would be a really fun way to kind of explain what the reel is, how you can kind of go about doing that, what the editing process is, on your computer. Now, again, I use Final Cut Pro, and that's always been my method of choice because I started using iMovie on like, an iPhone or an iPad or whatever back in the day. So upgrading now to like, my computer, if you have a Macbook Pro or an iMac or something like that, Final Cut Pro is a really great video editing software platform that you can use, super simple. And I'm going to also sprinkle in some really basic fundamentals of Final Cut Pro that a lot of people maybe have a hard time kind of like navigating in at first. And big shout out to my buddy Brock. He runs this YouTube channel called Let's Wing It. Check them out on YouTube. Really great content that they put together, but he's been editing videos on on his iPad for the longest time, using like different apps and stuff. So he just upgraded to like a brand new computer. He's got Final Cut, and he reached out to me the other day and asked if I would maybe put together a little tutorial to help just go through the basics of Final Cut to really get started. So Brock, this is for you, buddy, okay?
I do this video for you, Brock. You better like this.
Anyway, I'm really excited to get into this. I'm going to cut away from here. We'll do a couple screen shares. Yeah, so let's move into now what a reel looks like. Actually, you know what would be better? Let me show you my video reel now, my latest one, okay? And then you'll get a sense of what that's like. And then I'm also we'll jump right into editing the fresh one, okay? So check out my reel. This is, I don't know, I maybe last updated this like a year ago with some footage that I got. But it's gonna look completely different when I'm done. But here is my video reel for Chase E. Check it out.
You know, it was a long way down, and look at you, you're still as beautiful as ever. You know what they don't know?
They know exactly! If only they had the balls to do something about it! It's over. It's over now, Mom. It's over. I'm okay with that. So no one
No, it is not always
fucking
gonna
look
be
at
so
me!
bad. Stop, you have already gone for this! You've already gone for this shit, worst time of it! You know you can...
You think I go hiking in a pair of shoes I've been trying to find for like 6 years?
Of course. I'm just messing with you.
No, that's cool. These are pristine.
You're gonna give me the money?
That is generally how this works.
Right.
Great. How much do I owe you?
$3 million.
Can I help you?
I'm sorry, I'm deaf in my right ear.
Can I help you?
Actually, do you mind grabbing me some of these poster boards? It's a Vets for Peace rally. Ma'am, I didn't mean any disrespect.
You're being disrespectful. You're stealing from this university.
Well, hey man, it's just paper, right?
And now you're disrespecting me and my work. Bigger people than you have sacrificed more.
That's mine. Yeah, Professor Quinn said it was okay, but it's cool. Get it somewhere else.
Wait.
Just keep them. But don't you think it's ironic? You know, practicing all those years, and all that matters is 3 seconds. You blink and you miss my dive. You know, sometimes when I hit the water after a perfect dive, I want to swim down to the bottom of the pool, see how long it would take before anyone noticed I was gone.
Hi.
Hi,
I'm Taejun.
Hermione.
Oh, that's a weird name. I mean, unique. I've never met anybody else named Hermione.
But I know thousands of Taejuns.
Did you know that I can't go to a single place without there being another Taejun? Like that guy right over there?
Mm-hmm.
Taejun. That woman. Also Taejun.
My name is Taejun.
Oh, no. No, I am supposed to be the best looking Taejun at this party. That cannot be possible. You take that back right now.
You should break up with me, but I'm really hoping that you won't. Because you're the best thing that's ever happened to me. Because I would do anything for you.
Okay, so thank you for watching that. That was a lot of fun. Okay, let me open this stuff back up. Okay, so you kind of get a sense of what that's like, right? It's pretty simple. Just a succession of clips, and then you add those titles in there, have an opening credit, ending credit. Okay, so let's kind of just start running through. So here we go. This is just open. This was from a previous project, so don't worry about that. That's okay. So basically what you want to do is this. So you're gonna go up to the top, and again, I'm treating this like a complete basic intro tutorial. Okay, again,
This for you, Brock. Pay close attention. I not do this twice.
okay, so Final Cut Pro, here you are. You're gonna go to File, and you need to create a new library. Okay, this is a library is basically just a new location for your specific projects. All that media that you have stored in your computer can go into this library. So you can have multiple libraries, but let's say just for your video acting reel, you want to create a library for that, and you can have all that content in here. Okay, so let's name this project here. Just say Chase Ye Reel, and we'll say 2020. How's that? Okay, boom. Save that. Okay, now that I have this library created, you can see it right up here. Now I can go here and start importing media. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this button, and now I can start going through all the footage that I have. So I have a lot of different material here to play with, like this, for example, Damage Control. This is a movie that I recently just shot and put together. So this is definitely one that I'd like to use. So I'm going to, you can look at some of these settings here on the side. Not too important. So like, if you were, I mean, I can go through some of these just very quickly. I'm not going to go through all of them. Like this create optimized media or create proxy media is to create smaller condensed versions of your files in case you're working with like really huge files. So let's say like everything was in 4K. You could hit this create proxy media, so it doesn't actually use the entire 4K file. It creates a proxy of that file, which is much smaller. You can edit within that in your timeline, so it doesn't take up all of your memory space, all of your storage space. And then when you get ready to export, you can export it back into its original file size. So that's kind of like a very brief rundown of what that is. But for the most part, you don't need to mess with any of this. The only thing I usually change is this: leave files in place or copy to library. If you take all that footage from your computer and copy to library, it's essentially going to have it twice on your computer. So let's say you have a movie, like I'm going to pull this whole film in here, right? And that's basically, I don't know, it was 8 or 9 gigs or something altogether. So now if I copy it to the library, I'll have another 8 or 9 gigs in my library. So then it's like 20 gigs of space taken up on my computer, right? So you really don't want to do that so much. I always just leave the files in place because I'm either pulling it off an external hard drive that I've purchased, or I'm just leaving it somewhere else on in my computer, and I don't necessarily want it to be here as well. So leave the files in place, save yourself some extra storage. You can just click import. Okay, now this movie is in here, and we'll just continue to do that for all the projects that I have. Okay, so let's keep going here. That's the little import button too once you're done. So now I'm going to go to my G drive here, and I have, let's see, I already have a file here, Chase Reel. Okay, so these are all the different footage that I need to compile to put things together. I had an audition here that I filmed that I thought was really cool. I want to put that in. What else is this? That's audio for something. What is this audio? So now I'm importing all of that. Okay, so now I have a bunch of footage here, right? Also, now I want to go through and take my original reel that I had put together, because now I don't want to make too many changes, but I want to go through and, correct the one I already made. So this is one I put together here in 2020 already. So let's take this. This looks about right. So I'm just going to double click on that. Okay, so now I have all my footage. So basically, I'm changing my existing reel. So I'm going to start with that file first, and then I'll start clipping it out and fixing the rest of it. Okay, so let's find that original one that I had already made, which is this one here. Okay. So we're going to click New Project, right? Because now I want to start dragging these media items into this timeline. So I'll click New Project. Okay, and same thing. I can just say Chase Ye Reel. We'll just say 2020. And I could also say New if I want to add that. So now you have some settings here, okay, that you can kind of play around with. You have your video resolution or whatever. Now, for the most part, I'm not going to put this in 4K. You have to think that your video reel is primarily going to be uploaded online to some other places, right? It's going to go to Actors Access. It's going to go to Casting Frontier, Casting Networks. You're going to have to upload this reel to all those places, and they only accept a certain file size. So you want to keep that file relatively small. Okay, I think 1080p is fine. If you want to, even if you want to go lower, you could go to 720p. You know, again, for the most part, people are just going to be watching this on their computer or on their phone. They're not going to care what the clarity is like or whatever, okay? So I would just leave it at 1080p, no big deal. You don't have to worry about this rendering. This is for different, you know, file formats that you'd be filming in, but if you're not really getting into film, you know, editing heavily, you're just kind of doing things yourself, you don't really need to mess with any of this. You can leave it at ProRes 422, that's fine, okay? Leave that there. And don't worry about the audio, that's fine. Your sample rate is, again, these are just different things you don't really have to mess with. You can just leave the standard, you know, settings that they select, okay? And then hit okay. So now I have my project timeline created. So now I can easily just start grabbing these clips, moving them down into the project timeline like this. All right, so this is my original reel. Okay, so let's kind of just start running through how these things were created. I don't want to go in and change them now because I've already done that. But so to basically start with an empty space like this, where you kind of fade in and open, it's very simple. You can go right up here to the top. You're going to go to File, or no, I'm sorry, Edit, and then all the way down to the bottom here, it's going to say Insert. Where's Insert Generator? You can just do a placeholder or a gap. Placeholder means you're going to insert a clip there later, but if you just want a gap, that'll just give you some black space to work with. So you can choose gap like that. Then if you want to go into your titles, this is your title thing. You have your media. These are if you wanted to have any sounds like audio or photos, you can go here, or you have titles, okay? And titles are, you know, text that you can overlay and have different things. You can download a bunch of really cool, you know, titles offline. Like this is a set that I bought, you know, of titles that you can easily implement, you know, throw into Final Cut. There's a whole process behind that too. I'm not really going to get into that so much, maybe for another video, but for the most part, on a basic level, you just want to stick to your basic title, okay? You can either do this one if you want a title that's pretty simple, it's just one title in the center, or basically for my videos, I do a lower third, which is like this, you know, kind of a clean, like lower third, but you can just choose the basic lower third, okay? So let's say you want to throw that in. Well, actually, no, for this opening title, let's use a basic because we want, you know, my name, your name, right? And then once you're here, you can literally just go in here, change the text. Let's say John Doe. Okay, this is his acting reel. And usually in your acting reel, you want to specify on the title whether you're a union member or not. So if you are a union member, you can easily just type in SAG-AFTRA. Okay, just like that. If you're non-union, just put non-union. Okay, something like that. So let's just leave it non-union, no big deal. Right, so now you have this. Okay, so you hit play. If you just hit the space bar, if you're in the timeline and you click anywhere here, and then you hit the space bar on your computer,
some of these poster boards,
it will play the clip, okay? It will play where you are. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. All right, and just hit space. See, now I have John Doe, non-union, boom. And then it's gonna cut away to whatever the next clip is. If you want to add that fade in, fade out, really simple, go all the way over here to the right of the screen. You have these little effects here. This is your transitions tab. This is your effects tab. Okay, you wanna click on transitions. And you can scroll down. They have all different kinds. Look, you can kind of see it on the screen here, what's going on. It's like a wipe, you know, chevron here, one clip to the next. You can do checker, you know, blah, blah, all kinds of different things. Anyway, you just want the fade to color, okay? Fades it from one thing to the next. So you can hold down on it, drag it all the way over to the front. You can put one at the beginning, and then you can also drag one and put it at the next transition, okay? Sometimes if you have a clip already in place, it'll ask you, do you want to create a transition here? You can just click yes, create transition, boom. All right, so now let's watch that again. Oh, why is it? Oh, it's because now see you're kind of working in a timeline that small. If you want to zoom in on that, you can hold the command button on your keyboard and then hit the plus sign. Okay, so now we're zooming in on what's happening here. See, I have my title stretching all the way over the fader, so I don't want that. So I literally just want to click it, come over to the end of it, click, and then you can drag it into place here so it's only showing up in this black space. All right, now everything else would be a fade. So here, let's play it again. John Doe, non-union, boom, gone. Okay. If you wanted to make this longer, you can, let's say you want to delete, just delete that. Hold this down. You can make this a much longer, you know, fade. You can go over here, drag that out. But anyway, I'll just drag another one there. No big deal. But like, for example, like this, you can hit Command C and then say I wanted to put that same title over here. Command, you know, so now you can do that with a lot of things. Same thing with a clip, whatever. All right, so now we have a little bit of a longer intro. Okay, so here we go. John Doe, non-union. Boom, it's gonna fade out. And then the clips will start. Okay, so that was just an example. I'm getting rid of that because I don't need it. I've already done it here on mine. I'm not really gonna change any of this. I like how mine is. I'm gonna leave that. I think this is a strong opening scene. You know, and basically in your reel, you just want to highlight the best parts of your scene, your face, okay, your emotion. You don't really want to highlight anybody else, okay? Of course, if you're in a scene with somebody, it makes sense to have their face in it for a second or two to kind of give the wider context of the scene. So like, for example, this, you know, I have Deborah. She's talking.
You know what they don't know?
I know exactly!
But now it's right back on me, okay? You can have a little bit of back and forth, right? But for the most part, you want to stay central on your main figure, which is you. That's really important. So always keep that in mind. So I like the scene. I think it's a very strong opening scene. It's not too old. What, this was in 2019, so just last year. I think that's really relevant. So let's keep that in. This is, and now see, now we have a drama. So like a piece of, you know, a dramatic acting piece that's up at the front. That's kind of the first clip I'm using. That's really important. And now to kind of alleviate some of that pressure, we're going to go right into a comedic scene, which is this one, you know, which happens on Superstore. It's a TV show that I was on NBC. Really cool. Same thing. Now you can tell I'm also, see, I'm highlighting myself. It's me in the scene. You know, Colton Dunn is a pretty famous actor. He's, you know, been on the show a long time, so it's good to see yourself like alongside other working actors. You know, casting directors, places love to see that. So it makes sense to feature him, kind of a split second him talking, and then back to the two shot of us. You know, obviously you have to, you know, work within the clips that you're given. Okay, if you're only given a certain amount of clips, then, you know, you're kind of limited to what you can use. But this was a really great two shot of us. It captures basically the essence of the scene and then gets us out right. So basically I can leave that in place. We have another fade here that I added, transitions to the next scene. Now this kind of is a period piece. It's supposed to be, you know, set in Vietnam. I'm a soldier, injured soldier. Again, it's a really nice motion. You know, the whole thing is just myself interacting with the camera. Really great way to showcase, you know, your talent, who you are. And then you have, again, the back and forth with the scene. But I've cut this one up primarily, you know, to basically favor myself, okay, which is important. You can do that. So no problem. That's really good. This was a longer clip too. I mean, I just loved the look of it. I thought the director, her name was Stacy Gaspard, she did a really great job with kind of, you know, setting up this whole shot. Really great way to showcase your talent. I love this, you know, kind of look. It looks very cinematic, very good quality. So that's important. You always want to choose high quality clips too, okay? Now this was an interesting scene because now I'm back to my film, okay, coming up for air again. This was a good scene. Again, very dramatic. I thought the dialogue was good. You know, that's important to kind of keep intact. I like that scene. Although, see, now I have, and then I have this scene with my friend Ashley Romans, who's a really great actress. She's on a show, NOS 4A2 right now, on AMC, so that's cool. Again, another great way to showcase yourself working alongside somebody. Although this project is pretty old, okay, and I have another work that Ashley and I did that I think would better showcase myself. So basically, I think I'm going to take this out, okay, this Hermione Granger thing. So we're going to back this up. Okay, let's go right to the fade. See, I've already edited this, so I don't have to do too much, but I'm going to cut here. So let's cut to right where it's black, right? Now I'm going to hit the Command B. Okay, now if you go here, see this little clicker here? If you click on that, you can have a few different options for your mouse. Okay, now if you want to cut a clip in the middle, you want to go to Blade. Okay, so Blade is the one you can do. But you see this little letter, it says B. So if you hold your Command button on your keyboard and then hit the letter B, you'll also choose that same thing. So let's go Command B. Now I've bladed it right here. I can actually use this indicator to choose where I want to blade the clip. So I want to cut this out because I'm going to add something new. So let's go all the way here. Let's minimize this a little bit. So command the subtraction symbol now. Okay, so I can kind of make some space. Let's click out of here. All right, and I want to find the other side of this clip. So here, now it's gone. Okay, so let's command B again. Okay, so now let's just take this whole thing out. Gone. All right, so now let's find another clip I want to add in, which I think would be really good. Let's go back to my media bin up here. And I have a lot of great things to choose from. I've been shooting a lot of our own projects lately, and let's see here. Salt in the Wound was a really fun project that we put together. So I think this is definitely one that I want to showcase. And let's see. See now, instead of grabbing the whole clip too, you can move this and just grab parts of it. Oh, here we go. Now I can just kind of click into there. All right, let's see here. So there's a couple parts of this I want to take. I love this shot of Ashley on here too, which is really great. But then see, this is a nice shot of me here. So let's pull this in, okay, and let's drop this into where I cut these two. All right, so let's watch this back. We can kind of take a look at what's going on here. See, now I can, let's fade this out so that other audio doesn't come in from the previous. And we can fade this in so that's a little softer. All right, these are little sound faders. See, this is your audio down at the bottom. These little levels, that's your audio levels. Now, if you wanted to fluctuate these separately, you can right-click on the clip and go to Detach Audio. Boom, and now it actually moves it into its own file. So you could cut this up however you want to, if you don't want it to be attached right to the video. So that's what we're gonna do here, so that's no problem. So we fix that audio. So this is going on, no big deal. And then it's a nice soft transition into this project. Okay, so now let's add a title. So now I need to find the title for this. So what was one that we used? What text was that? Let's see here. Looks like just a basic kind of fade in, fade out title. So let's go back to our titles. Let's see here. Fade right here. See this fade title? See how it does that? Okay, so that's the one we're going to take. We're going to grab that, go all the way back to our clip here, drop that in the beginning. All right. Actually, now I think I actually might want the. Is there a fade lower third? I'm not so sure. Nah, we don't have to worry about that. All right, so let's go back here and now let's change this. Change it to Salt in the Wound, and we'll say 2020. Okay, let's change the size of that so it's smaller. And I think. See, the only difficult thing about editing your reel yourself is that you need to be able to match up the text as best you can to what you have been using, and sometimes I have a hard time remembering like what text I use, so I should really try to pay attention to that. Let's see here, what looks good, what looks close. That doesn't look bad. Salt. That looks okay. It was probably Helvetica. New. This is probably the one I use. I try not to make it too difficult. All right, so now once you have that changed, now you can just click on this. See this little button? And now you can move it anywhere you want. Okay, so let's move it down into the corner here. All right. It's probably down here. See, you want to put it somewhere people can read. So maybe here on the rocks isn't a bad idea. We can even maybe make that a little smaller. Okay, let's look at that. So now let's check this out. There you go, Salt in the Wound. Perfect. See, nice, great shot of me. Really cool. See, but now it's a little long, so I can cut some of it out. All right, let's just wait here. I'm trying to see it. Really great way though to showcase what's going on. See, but rather than instead of her like shot here, because now we're going into a shot of her, right? And it hangs on her. So boom, let's say cut that right there. Okay, let's cut this, and then let's just punch in. So I hit that Command B button to cut. Now I'm going to grab the clip here and just slide it into where I show up on camera. Okay, right here. Now the audio might be a little funky because it's got a track underneath it, so we have to kind of, you got to cut it on a downbeat of the audio so you can come in on the next beat of something else, right? So that wasn't too bad. Let's detach that though. Maybe there's a way we can kind of, fix this to make it sound a little bit better. Okay, let's zoom in now. So Command plus. See how the notes, see it down, up, and then it goes down. So let's bring it right down to that moment there. Boom. Okay, and then we can just grab this clip to sync it up, right in line. Okay, no big deal. Now let's listen to this. There you go. That was a lot better. Now it's a little harsh there. So what you can do is maybe just you can maybe even kind of use these faders to just pull it in a little bit on each side. Huh. See, now that sounds a little too odd, maybe on one side. There you go, that's not bad. Let's listen back here. There you go, not bad. So now it's on me. See what I'm saying? I've cut that to where it's focusing on me. So that's really important. So let's just keep going through that. And good. There. And now this doesn't have to be so long either. You get the, I'm smiling, I'm laughing. Okay, cool. Whatever. Let's chop that in a little bit. No big deal. Okay, perfect. Okay? And then we're on to the next clip. Now see there's a little bit of a leftover here, so we can just pull that in so that that fade starts right. As you're dragging it, you can see what clip is going to play next. Let's detach this audio. Looks like there's some audio left over from this previous section. We can literally just chop that out. So let's hit Command B, grab that, and then hit delete. Boom, gone. Right? It's still even hanging in there. So let's just move this whole thing over. It's still hanging in there. There you go. And let's fade this out so it's not so harsh. There you go. Coming up for air is coming again. See, now this is tough because I have coming up for air multiple times. But the cool thing is this is a good scene about, being in love or whatever, right? So, I could contemplate cutting that out. I have a lot of other things here I'd like to kind of put in and go through. But anyway, I don't want to make this video too long. You could spend hours doing this, trying to choose the right ones. However, let's say I like this. I just wanted to change that one clip. You got the sense of how that goes about. No big deal. So we've cut that together, and now I'm done. Okay? I have everything else I like. That was it. I just wanted to make that one change to my reel, put that new footage in. Now that I'm done, you want to export the file. Okay? So you're going to go up here into your right-hand corner, click this button, which is the share. It's like your share your project button, so you're going to click that. And now you can choose, what kind of file you want to turn this into. So you have some options. Now, master file is exactly what it is. It's a master file that shows you, what you can use this to, upload online, various links, whatever. So if you click that, let's say you wanted to do that. Again, you have the option to change your titles up, fix them however you want. I usually just delete this metadata stuff that they put in here. You don't really need it. If you go over to settings, see you have your video and your audio. It shows you the resolution, everything like that. This video codec is just the smallest video size that you can save. See, if you try to do like an Apple ProRes, which is a high quality film, media format, you'll see, look, it changes it to like 4 gigs, and that's too big. You need it to be small so you can upload this online in various places, okay? So your H.264 is your best option. See, that's 618 megabytes, which is still pretty big. Typically, you're only going to get 400 megabytes when you upload your reel online to Actors Access or Casting Networks or something. So you want to try to make that as small as possible. So your master file sometimes isn't your best option. Now, granted, you have this saved. Okay, it's in your timeline. You can keep it in your history. So when you go back up to the share button, my recommendation is to use one of these Apple devices, and you can save these in a smaller format. So like our video is already in 1080p. That's what we created the project timeline in. So if you go to the Apple devices, 1080p, click that. Now you can see, look, you have this under 400 megabytes. That's at 323. So that is what I recommend you save that as. If you wanted to go lower, you could do the 720. Again, most people watch video online in 720 or 1080p or even lower than that. So now at 720, look, you have 227 megabytes, so that's a lot smaller. But I think 1080p is fine. That's good. So let's say you want to save this. Okay. And then basically, you're done. That's it. Your settings, you're not really going to change any of these. Your info is fine. It all makes sense. You can clean up your title however you want, and then you'll just hit next. Okay, and then you can choose where you want that to get saved. I'll just put it on my desktop, hit save, and now we're waiting for this to render. So if you go over here to the left, you click on this button, now you see that it's sharing. Okay, and then once this gets to 100, it'll be saved. It's on your computer, and then you can use that to upload to your, whatever various sites your agent wants you to put your reel on. So yeah, that's really cool. Pretty straightforward. Very basic stuff. Just importing media, cutting, adding those titles, fading, things in and out, detaching audio. These are all pretty basic things you can learn how to do to, really at least get a decent grip on your reel editing projects that you're putting together. So anyway, I hope this helps. Okay. I'll have some other tips that we can put together, in the future. But this is just a really simple, great way to, save yourself some time, have the flexibility to do things yourself, and hopefully, book more roles because you're on top of it. You're ready to do whatever you need. So yeah, so look, this is 100%. Now that's great. So we can close this. Let's just close out of here. No big deal. Final Cut saves everything automatically, so you don't need to worry about saving something. It's saved there. And now here's my video file. So here we go. Hit play. Chase Yee. Go through. Let's see what my new... And here's my new video that I threw in. So that's in my reel. Pretty cool. Well, everybody, that's your acting reel pretty much summed up, okay? So you saw, the principles of it and how it really works. I hope that helps you, kind of get a sense of how you can do it yourself. Again, I know it's expensive to kind of go out and get a nice computer or buy Final Cut Pro. It's like a $300 application. But, my thing is that if you invest that money and time into yourself, that way you're able to go and do these things for yourself, you're going to save a lot more money in the long run. And you're just going to be more prepared as an actor. Because if you had to go hire somebody to do this, like a video editor friend, they're pretty much going to charge you like $50 an hour. And if you need to do a rehaul or always add something, to your reel every month or every couple months or every 6 months, think, over the course of a year or 2 years, you're going to spend, maybe $100, a couple $100, paying someone to do it. And you're always going to be beholden to that person, to that process. Whereas if you learn how to do it yourself, just with a simple tutorial video like this, it just makes you more dangerous in the future, and you're going to save money in the long run, and it's just going to make you more prepared. Because a lot of the times, agents will say, hey, I need you to update your reel, get it online tomorrow. And it's like, oh shit, I can't go to the place I go to in the valley and hire the guy. He's not available. What am I going to do? That's when knowing how to do these things yourself will really make a difference. I hope the Final Cut Pro tutorial helps you too. Obviously, I don't want to, me going through that whole thing would have taken an hour. It takes a long time. You have to really dissect the clips and find what you want. And there's a little bit of an artistry, piecing it all together. But, doing that one clip, that process is the same. You're just recreating that process over and over again and then saving it, exporting it, uploading it to, your respective site that you need it on. So, again, I hope this helps. Let me know if there's anything, any questions you might have. You can contact me on Instagram at @ChaseYee_. I'm always available to chat. You can find us online, doyenartist.com. I've been acting like over 10 years now, so I've, been kind of doing these things myself and learning how to do it. And so I'm always happy to help other people. If you have any questions, comments, leave them in the comments section below. Please subscribe to our channel. I'm happy to do these acting tips for everybody every week. If there's something you want to learn about, or kind of like how Brock was asking if I could do a little easy tutorial like that, let me know. I'd be happy to, throw some videos out there to try to make things easier for all you actors out there. And, hopefully you can book some more work as the year continues. So again, happy 4th of July, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and tune in next week for another acting tip. Okay, take care. Okay, done.